Alright, so for this video, we're going to get to know Echo a little bit more. Echo is a girl. She is a girl after all. So there's two girl characters you can play as in this game, Dust and Echo is one of them. She's an Azultal, for sure, but her race is called a Betalod, I believe. Yes, a Betalod. So let's get to know Echo a little bit more and see if she is the character for you. Echo is a Betalod, a fact that in itself makes her a very unusual contestant. Betalods generally stay in their sanctuary, well protected inside the Citadel of Time, where they use their incredible intellect to make complex calculations for the high engineers. But Echo is not like her peers. She's fascinated by the monsters in the outside world, and dreams of studying the Fold and its mysteries. What she lacks in strength and experience, she more than makes up for her outstanding mastery of shells and micronic manipulation. So that's her. Her playstyle. Stepping out of the Citadel for the first time, Echo is eager to prove herself by using the powerful shell device on her staff. She can convert her resilience and repurpose it to any other need. She thrives in challenges centered on logic and time manipulation. So she's a master of time and space, basically. Let's go over her character cards. I don't know her too much, so we'll see if I understand how her character cards work or not. Okay, so depth of knowledge. At the end of your turn, if you did not attempt a challenge or fight a monster, refresh all of your dice. Oh, I like that ability. There have been times when I just don't want to complete a challenge, or can't, or I just don't want to fight a monster. And so if I end my turn and didn't do any of those things, I get to refresh my dice. Well, that's an interesting ability. I like that, and it's all of your dice. So that's an ability she can have, depth of knowledge. If she has that out, she'll get to use it. Okay, so we have Mindful Projections. You may discard a stunt card from your hand to refresh 2 dice once per turn. Well, that's an interesting ability. Obviously, if you have a stunt card you're not going to use, you can discard it with this ability, and she gets to refresh 2 dice. That's cool. Make it look easy. When you are on the same island as another character, reduce your danger die level by 1 if possible. Well, that is interesting. Obviously, if you're rolling that red dice, or even that yellow dice, it's more dangerous rolling it. And so if you have this ability, and you are on an island with another character, and you're competing in a challenge or fighting a monster, if she has this ability, she will be able to roll the weaker die if there is one. Meaning if you're not currently using the white die. So this is an ability you probably aren't going to want on the first round, because it's not really going to be very useful. Feats of the Betalod. After you complete a challenge, you may pay 1 shell to choose a new challenge card that has fewer symbols. Well, that's interesting. This will make it easier getting challenges, I think. If you have this ability and you're playing as Echo, it'll be easier getting challenges because you can complete a challenge and then you can pay a shell, probably have a few of those anyways, to get a new challenge card that has fewer symbols. That could be cool. That could be very useful. Pragmatic Foresight. You may discard a challenge card from your hand to gain 2 shells once per turn. Oh, so those complement each other pretty well. You have this ability, you use a shell to get a challenge, it has fewer symbols, but unfortunately it's not something you'd want, but you did it anyways. You could, on your next turn, discard said challenge card and get 2 shells. So basically now you've, actually you can do this on the same turn. So these complement each other perfectly, because you can do as many character cards as you want on your turn as many times as you want. Usually. Unless you're, obviously this one you can only do once per turn. So you can't do this one continuously on the same turn, but you could do this one multiple times if possible, and some of the other ones you might be able to do multiple times if possible. But most likely what would be the case is you could do this one, this one, etc., etc. For instance, you probably wouldn't be able to do the same one twice regardless, but that's still really cool that you could do multiple character cards on the same turn. And obviously, since these complement each other, you complete a challenge, you pay a shell, you get a challenge, then on the same turn, if you had this ability as well, you discard that challenge because you didn't want it anyways, and you get 2 shells. So, that's kind of a sly move if you ask me. Okay, then we have Suro's Transverser. Remember, she's a master of time and space. So, she's in the fold has a lot to do with time and space for sure. I know that. Yeah, the barrier is more than just simply keeping the monsters out. It's almost as if the monsters are in a different time zone outside in the fold. So that's kind of interesting, that what the engineers of the Citadel of Time were able to pull off. But anyways, when rolling dice, you may use one resilience trait symbol as any trait symbol. Well, that is interesting. So basically, you can, when you're rolling the dice and you roll a resilience trait symbol, and obviously you don't want the traits, this particular trait symbol right now, you don't want it, and you rolled it, you could utilize this for another symbol that you need to complete the said challenge or when fighting the monster. So that's pretty cool. I like that ability a lot. So that's an interesting one to say the least. Follower of the Fold. After fighting a monster, gain a dice with level equal to the number of different types of traits you hit. So it's very similar to one of Cayman's as well. You gain a die with a level equal to the number. So it's similar, but it's better because you're gaining dice. He was gaining fruit. So you fight a monster, you'll gain a dice, and then depending on how many traits you hit will be the level. So if you only had one trait that you hit, you just get a novice die. If you had 2 different traits, then you'd get an initiate dice, either blue or red, and so on. And if I didn't mention it, level 3 is technically called elite dice, and level 4 is called guild dice. Guild dice. Okay, so let's continue on. Triumph of the Mind. When you push it on a synergy challenge, move +1 on the champion board. So, similar to Cayman, he had it for focus, basically. She has the same exact ability, which allows her to move 1 up on the champion board if she pushes it on a challenge, but it's going to be for a synergy challenge, not a focus challenge. Still, that's pretty cool. Wisdom of the Ancients. You may use your synergy trait level in place of resilience. That's kind of interesting. So you may use your synergy trait level in place of resilience. So, that's interesting. Okay, so if my synergy was higher than my resilience, and I needed my resilience to be high so I could refresh dice and upgrade dice, I could use my synergy trait instead, so whatever level that happened to be would actually be my resilience instead. That's an interesting ability. I like that ability. That is wow. Wow, I like that. Okay, cool. I gotta say that's cool. Okay, Ancient Bestiary. So her artifact is the Ancient Bestiary. You may hit 1 armored spot with any level of die. Well, I like that. So sometimes, especially in the first round, this is useful, especially for the first round. The first round, you probably won't have the initiate dice necessarily, or you may not want to use them, period. So you can instead, if you had this out, you may hit 1 of the armored spots with any level of dice, so it could be a novice dice instead. That is cool. And then if you discard this, ignore all restrictions on a monster you are fighting. So I'm not sure exactly what that ability is. That I do not know for sure, and I'm not going to guess on that. I'll have to do more research, but you guys can look it up on your own and figure it out for yourselves, what that does exactly, but what that means. But I think that's the only thing I don't understand for sure, is the discard ability. Now, her shield upgrade is called Entangler, okay? Remember, Cayman had a different one. This one is you spend 3 shells from the shield to choose or draw a challenge. He got a novice dice with his shield upgrade. She will get to choose or draw a challenge with her shield upgrade. Okay, so everybody has the shield upgrade, but they're different abilities. And that is everything for Echo. That's her story. So is this the character you want to play as? Well, now you know a little bit more about her. Let's move on.